Bonjour and welcome back to my channel. Claude here. Today I'm super excited because I'm doing a VR to Amidst the Grey. When I saw her hashtag, I could not believe my eyes, and it's coffee house decks. So matching a deck, whether it's an oracle or a tarot deck, to a beverage, that you would normally find in a coffee house. So this is my sweet nectar. It's always next to me. You don't see it when I do my reading, but it's always next to me. I actually have upgraded coffee to a food group rather than just a drink for me. I drink lots of it every day. Yes, even before going to bed, it does absolutely nothing to me whatsoever. It doesn't disturb my sleep. I've been drinking it since I was a child with my mom with lots of milk. So yeah, so I'm very excited about this. So I'm going to put my coffee on the side and let's begin. So the first one is the espresso. So what she said was a deck that gets straight to the point. So for this, I have my Tarot de Marseille by Vincent Petici. I've got two because there's two editions, so I'm going to show them to you very quickly. So this is the standard edition, and then you have the black edition of the decks. And to me, the Tarot de Marseille really is my go-to. Okay, I've been reading tarot for 30 years now, and I started with the Tarot de Marseille. So for me, I find that it's less busy, as opposed to anything that's like Rider-Waite-Smith when the pips are illustrated. Sometimes I find it very disturbing to my intuition. The difference between the standard edition and the non-standard, as you can tell, is that the major arcana are on the black background. He calls this the Black Keys edition. Otherwise, it's the same deck, but the majors are in black, as you can tell. So these two are my go-to tarot decks, anytime, any place, and they are always, there's one of them always in my handbag if I leave the house. And he's drawn it, I really like it, but what really particularly attracted me to this Tarot de Marseille over the other versions that I may have is the fact that I really like the color palette. I like the greens and oranges. It's more subtle, and the creamy background rather than having the bright white with the bright red and blue, if you see what I mean. So this is what I would call my espresso deck, the one that goes straight to the point, and that's why they are in those little leather boxes, because they travel with me all the time. So the second prompt for this is the drip coffee. So a deck that's simple, accessible, and gets the job done. So for this, I have the Bianco Nero Tarot. That's the backs. This is a Rider-Waite-Smith inspired deck. So that's why I chose it, because it's accessible to everybody, it gets the job done, and it's simple because it's a black and white deck. So to me it's not fussy, has all of the Rider-Waite symbology, as you can tell. Personally, I prefer it aesthetically. I'm going to say something that people are not going to be happy about, but I think that the Rider-Waite-Smith is ugly as a deck. I really don't like the artwork. I'm really sorry. I'm not trying to offend people, but I don't. That doesn't mean I don't like the system, the Rider-Waite system, but it's the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. I just don't like this aesthetic. So that follows the Rider-Waite system, but I prefer the aesthetic of it. I have a penchant for anything that's Italian anyway, so yeah, I think that this is a stunning deck, very underrated. I don't see it out much, on TarotTube, which I don't understand, because it's such a cool deck, and it does the job. It really does. It's very clear. It's a very good reader, for me anyway. So that's my drip deck. Let me put it away. So the third prompt is the pour over. So when the type of coffee that takes time and effort, you know, when you have it with a filter just on top of the carafe and you patiently do this motion with your kettle. I must say, I do it, so the pour over. So it takes time and a bit of effort, but it's worth it. And for this, I have decided to put the Journey of the Sacred Bee Tarot, because it is a stunning deck, and yes, I could choose to read it just like any other deck, you know, with my knowing the meanings basically, but I wanted to get the actual deeper meaning of each card. It also can be a bit busy for some people, you know, people might find the aesthetic a little bit busy. So it took me a little bit of time, because initially it kind of put me off all of the colors. I don't like bright colors, but there was something that was calling me when it comes to this deck for some reason. And I mean, look at it, it's stunning. Look at that, look at the gilding, the backs, it really is stunning. But you see, that's the card of alchemy, that's temperance. I don't know, all the colors, there's sacred geometry in it. I just thought, okay, I just need time to familiarize myself with it, and I'm so glad I did. It was well worth it. I love this deck. I do use it a lot, particularly in my personal practice. It was worth it, but I did have to push a bit and you know, dig into the meanings that were given with the guidebook, but also understand what it was trying to say to me, and not get put off by all the colors, because when you put many in front of you, it can be a bit distracting. But definitely worth it. This deck has given me very meaningful readings. So there you go. So that's the Journey of the Sacred Bee. And that was the number 3, the pour over. So then after that, prompt number 4 is the latte. So, you know, the very popular drink, very palatable, well received. Now, I don't have that many decks that I would say are very popular, because, for instance, you know, everyone talks about the Light Seers Tarot deck as, you know, super popular. I don't like this deck. I would think that the Tarot in Wonderland is well received and popular. It's a Barbara Moore deck. You know, she's a heavy hitter in our world. The guidebook is fantastic. Lots of info in there, but this is a deck that I've seen used quite a bit, so I'm assuming it's popular. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but this is the back. And I mean, Alice is a popular character, so that's why I thought that would be a good one. And I really like it. This is the deck I can pick up anytime when I want to read quickly. I know it like the back of my hand. I've studied it, and I also know Alice in Wonderland, just generally speaking, the book, so that helps. And so that's what I would say is my latte deck, you know, the popular one. And when people ask me to read for them and I give them a choice, yeah, 8 times out of 10 they're gonna ask me to use the Alice, the Tarot in Wonderland. So yeah, that will be the latte one. So let me put it away, because I've zoomed in so that you can see the cards, so that doesn't give me much space. My desk is small as well. So the next prompt is number 5, the cappuccino. So classic, sophisticated, but a little bit fussy. And for that, I have the Relative Tarot. Now, the reason why I have chosen this is because, to me, this is my most sophisticated deck. It is also, it's beautiful. I don't know what else to say. Let me show it to you, because I'm kind of speechless. I love it. I love it so much that I only use it for ancestral work. I mean, look at the back. This is so vintage looking, like they've been used. Gilded. I know some people don't like it. I love it, and I think it's classic with the style, and it's all made with photos of real people. so people who have existed, which I really like, which is why to me, you know, the classic aspect of it is from that. The sophistication is in the way it looks. Let me show you the cards. I mean, look at this Empress, she's stunning. Judgment. So it's a very special deck for me. I felt its energy the minute I got it, to be honest, which is why I knew it was with photos of people who have actually, you know, existed. What I mean is the person has actually asked people to send photos so she could use them. So I thought that was a really nice process, and that's made it very special to me. And because of the high quality of production of it, it's just not a deck I would whip out for any odd question. Ancestral work is something very important to me anyway, and that's the reason why I reserve it solely for this. I do not use it for anything else, and every time I have it in my hand it feels very special. So that's that one. So then the next prompt is, and I believe it's number 6, it's the mocha. So coffee that's indulgent, a little bit extra is what Amidst the Grey said. And for that I have the Prism Tarot, the Brilliant Cut. Now this is a deck that I mean I love. It's not that I needed it, but I just wanted it, if you see what I'm saying. So these are the backs, and this holographic gilding. I do like a gilded deck, I'm not gonna lie. I love it because I am a qualified yoga teacher, and this speaks to me because it uses the colors of the chakras. So I do find it easy to read. It won't appeal to everybody because, you know, it's got those kind of futuristic silhouettes. There's also the fact that the pages in this deck, this is the Queen, the pages in this deck, they are above the King. They are the full evolution of the court cards. The Knights have wings, so that's how you know who they are. But I just had to have it, you know. It's one of those where it's indulgent for me because I get to use another type of knowledge that I have, because obviously, you know, I had to study to get the yoga certification. So I know I had to research a lot, chakras and all of that good stuff. So this speaks to me a lot. But did I need it? No. Did I want it? Yes. So, you know, that's what it is. Where is this backwards? There you go. I wanted to show you a page, but I've not seen one yet. So it's Judgment. Oh, it's annoying. Yeah, you see? This is so nice, the sun with the yellow, you know, the beautiful energy of your willpower, which is in your solar plexus. Yeah. So no, I'm not going to find a page to show you. That's really irritating. I really wanted to show you because the moon shows you it is the page. Where is it? There's another Queen always facing that way. Maybe I was talking and didn't pay attention. You know what? That could have actually happened because that's what I do. There's another Queen. A Knight. King. Oh wow, are they all at the bottom of my deck? Are you serious? There we go. There's a page, and you see it with the full moon behind, which signifies it's the completion of the suit, you know, right at the top, like the king would be. So that's a little quirk of this deck. It comes with 2 extra cards as well. But anyway, this is the deck that, yeah, it's a little bit extra for me. I think it looks stunning when I have my black mat out, because the colors really pop well. And yeah, that's the little bit of indulgence for me. The next prop is what she called CORTADO, which is a balanced and objective deck. And for this one, I have to talk about the Tarot of Oppositions. And this is a tarot deck that has the positive, the light side, and the dark side of the card on the same card. As you can see, this is the Empress, and that's the other side of it. And if you flip the box, that's the Hermit, and you see the darker side of it. So I think it's a very ingenious concept, and when I want clarity and I want to be objective, I use this deck because I find it it reminds me of both sides of the card, basically. I didn't even tell you how the other decks were published by, who they were published by. This one is a Los Scarabeo deck. So these are the backs. And so if you look at it, this is, for instance, the Nine of Wands, and you can see that's the upward meaning, you know, of, you know, one last hurdle, getting prepared, and then that's the defeated warrior. So I really like that, because when I use it, both meanings are there for me to choose from, obviously intuitively, but I do find it, you know, like for instance the Page of Cups, you can see the positive side and then the self-obsessed side of the Page of Cups and emotional immaturity that they may display. So yes, I really like the concept of this deck. Again, this is a deck I've not really seen around much, but I love it. I use it a lot. This is an Italian deck again. As I said, I have a thing for the Italians. I think they do things with great style. And you know, like, we vilify the Tower, you know, oh my god, it's bad news. And not necessarily. The Tower is a neutral card, and it's important to know that the Tower can occur and bring you a revelation that's a good piece of news, or it could bring about destruction, which anyway is necessary. The Lovers. I'm sorry, there's a lot of glare on those cards. The Ace of Cups. The Hangman. So, you know, the enlightenment that you get from seeing things from a different point of view and otherwise just being stuck. So yeah, that's the Tarot of Opposition. So this one I really like. Well, you're gonna hear me say I really like the decks all the time. I'm sorry, you know, they're my decks. Obviously, if I've kept them, that means I like them. I'm being very obvious. The next one is CON PANNA. That's prompt number 8, and it puts you in your place, but sweetly. And for this deck, I have chosen the Walking Meditation Tarot by Danielle Norman. I've had this deck since September, so I've been working with it for about just under 6 months. And this is a gorgeous nature deck. Comes with 2 booklets. I'm going to show you. This is a matte gilding, and then there's the backs. They're absolutely stunning. I got it with Kickstarter, but obviously it's available now. And the reason why I chose it for this is because it's very peaceful. So you just have nature evolving around the 4 seasons in Canada, and with obviously, you know, animals. And so as you can tell, it's very peaceful. And also she's put it into a program that makes it look like it's been like a canvas, when actually these are the actual photos she took. And so this is a very relaxing, nice deck in that respect, but it will tell me if something's not quite right. And I like that, because some of the imagery of the nature, that's the Queen of Cups, I mean, you know, how beautiful is that? The Magician, the Hierophant, but I'm going to find a card to show you what I mean when it puts me back to my place. That's the Three of Cups. You can see the nature takes a turn, it becomes dark when there's a message that's a bit harder, or an energy that's a bit more challenging, like the Five of Wands, it becomes dark. It's not all, you know, beautiful nature and calm is what I'm trying to say. Beautiful Empress. if you look at, for instance, the devil, you can see with what she's chosen, the fog, the veil, the confusion, the Nine of Swords, the harsh environment, and how you can feel isolated and everything is barren within yourself because you are anxious, you are worried. So I really love this deck. It works very well for me. I get deep, meaningful readings from it, and although it's very pretty and nurturing, it does tell me when, for instance, Two of Swords, when I'm refusing to make a decision, it pops on the mat. I can see it immediately. So that was the Puts You in Your Place Sweetly deck. God, this is so much fun. I love this tag. Okay, the next one is number 9, the Chai Latte. Warm, cozy, nurturing. Okay, so I don't really do fuzzy, but warm and nurturing, definitely the Intuitive Night Goddess Tarot. This is a tarot that centers on the divine feminine energy, so nurturing energy. And right, when was that? That's Ulysses Press, so yes. There's the back. And it's all with female characters. I hope you can see them. So that's Temperance, the Warrior of Wands, so that's obviously the Knight. It's always female, but it's a very nurturing deck. I mean, even death is not scary, if you see what I mean. It's very empowering as well. You know, Reclamation for 15 for the Devil, the Four of Swords. The Nymphs are the pages. This is a deck that I reach out for when I want to feel comfortable. Let's just put it this way, where I'm not really ready for something that's going to cut me and tell me to my face what I'm doing wrong. It needs to, if I need to have a message delivered nicely to myself, that's the one I will reach out for. It doesn't mean that it doesn't tell you, it does, but you understand what I'm saying. It's just more feminine. And I love it. So there's that one. Okay, up next, what do we have? Oh, the Matcha Latte. So an acquired taste. So for this I'm going to use my Tarot del Toro. This is a Marseille deck, but done by Guillermo del Toro, who is, if you don't know, a film maker, producer. I mean, he's done many, and I love him. I love what he does cinematographically speaking. So his mom was a tarot reader, and she basically taught him. And let me just remind you of films he's made. Maybe you know. He's done Pan's Labyrinth, Crimson Peak, The Shape of Water, many more, plenty of films. But so there's the back. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, this is an Insight Editions. Yep. But this is my aesthetic. I like this kind. I like dark decks, and all of the major arcana are based on his films, on characters. Sorry. So obviously, if you've seen the films, it will make much more sense. Otherwise, you need to familiarize yourself with it. But that's the Hierophant, for instance. And then, as I said, it's a Marseille deck, so expect no pictures on the minors, which suits me down to a T. There's the Ace of Swords, and I really like the artwork. Is Thomas Del Hero, I think is called Thomas Hero. That's it. The guy who actually did all of the illustration for it, and I believe he printed it on wooden blocks, like big stamps. So that's really cool. I like that he's kept the French for the page as well. It's a nice touch. But obviously, you know, this is all to do with the films he's made. So this is the mother, for instance, in Pan's Labyrinth, holding the little brother of the main character. So this works for me, and also, you know, it's a question of aesthetic. You may not like the way it looks. It may look too dark, too machine-like. Again, it's an acquired taste, but to me, it's such a clear reader. I love reading with it. I don't know. I just find it very, very clear, and yeah, I like it. So you can see, you know, as I said, the pips are not illustrated. There's the Hangman, the Knight of Swords, and the Star. So yeah, an acquired taste, I'm well aware of that, but it has a very special place in my heart, I'm not gonna lie. So that's the Tarot del Toro. I think I'm taking a very long time, I'm sorry, I get lost in just looking at the cards. So next prompt we have, okay, 11, hot chocolate speaks to younger you. Now I don't really have a deck that does that, as in tarot deck, but I've got two oracle decks that do that for me. And it's the Dragon Oracle cards and the Oracle of the Unicorn. So I'm going to show them to you very quickly. Basically, any mythical creature is going to speak to little Claude, if you see what I'm saying. So this is the Dragon deck. Now this one is... This is a Hay House, isn't it? Let me check. No, Lifestyles. My bad. So that's the back of the cards. And you get a picture of a dragon, and you can see the artwork is maybe more childish, maybe, and then you get a little phrase like air dragon helps you rise above earthly matters. But I love dragons. I've always wanted to fly on the back of one. I know, childish, but there you go. So obviously I had to have this deck, you know, learning the different names and stuff, and I know it's not for everybody, but that talks to little Claude. And they're, you know, they're different categories. Some of them are earth and air, others are just earth dragons, rainbow dragons. Then you've got some that are classified by their colors, the golden orange dragon, the black dragon. Oh, I'm losing my crystal yellow dragon. I mean, you know, you get the gist, but that's definitely talks to me, the younger me. And the other one is the Oracle of the Unicorns. I think it's a stunning deck. It's very, very pretty, and I love the messages, and I love unicorns. What can I say? They're very glossy, so I can't put them too close because you're gonna get the light, unfortunately. But they transport me into a world where I have no worries, so I really, really enjoy this. I used to horse ride when I was younger as well, so it's probably coming from that. You know, the love of unicorns. But I think that these cards are beautiful, and they're not just sweet. They do talk about, you know, polarities. There's a card that talks about managing your anger as well. So it does deal with, it has beautiful, soothing messages, but it does deal with things that are more difficult to deal with, like discernment, the card of discernment, the card of cycles, you know, and you can see the aged unicorn. But yeah, that's the only unicorn deck I have, but that's definitely, you know, the one for me. I've seen others and I didn't like them. But yes, so the dragon and the unicorns, that's for younger Claude. Okay, and then we have the Italian soda. I'm afraid I never had one, but from what she said, it's something that's fun and low-key. Now, for me, that would be the Wizard's Tarot. That's also by Barbara Moore, like the Alice in Wonderland, the Tarot in Wonderland, sorry. And again, you're going to see, you know, fun, younger Claude. This is what she's like. So that's the back. And you have just epic people in this deck. It's very easy to read because it's, you know, Rider-Waite-Smith based, so you get the symbology, you know, 9 of Cups, you can tell, but it's a very clean deck, and it's fun, you know. The Page of Pentacles is having fun for a change, not just trying to study. The Empress looks like a beautiful witch or mixed with a fairy in a wedding dress kind of thing. Then you have, you know, some very, very good looking people in there as well. Not all, but, you know, she's looking very sexy, let's be honest. It's fun. I mean, the devil doesn't look menacing. It's do you know what I mean? I feel good when I look at these cards. The Queen of Pentacles is beautiful. The Hermit even looks a bit like he's on an adventure. It's low-key. Judgment is looking very soothing, you know, with the owl at the top and everyone's wearing those beautiful gowns. Yeah. So that's my fun low-key deck. And then finally you have the herbal tea. Now I'm going to show you an extra deck at the end, which is an extra category because it was missing. There was something I wanted to talk about, so I will add one in a minute. But for the herbal tea, it's the deck that helps you unwind. I have the Herbal Healing deck by Sarah Baldwin. Now this is an oracle deck. The accompanying book is amazing, and this is something I use with the book as well because you've got all of the explanation. But this deck is amazing. Not easy to get out of the box, I'm not gonna lie, but these are the bags, and you have different suits. You have the roots, you have the flowers, you have the trees, and if you look at the artwork, I find the artwork very soothing. Anything that's plant anyway will be soothing to me. But so you have dream root and the keyword dreams, for instance. And you can see the picture is different. You've got a leaf, you've got a root, so it's a different suit. So, you know, black caroche, darkness. But even that doesn't look stressful. If you look at it, it just doesn't. And the book is very supportive. Yarrow, boundaries with the flower, that's another suit. I just find them very pretty, very peaceful. They soothe my soul when I look at them. The messages are very good as well. So yes, this is something I use with the guidebook. It's for my personal practice. Walnut, letting go, that's the tree suit. So this really, really, really works for me. Oak, strength. The higher self with horsetail. So that's my soothing deck. Now I'm going to add one category, which is the flat white. And the reason why I'm adding this category is because, firstly, this is the drink I order the most when I go to a coffee shop. I want a flat white because the latte is too milky for me and the espresso is too strong. So it's that in between, the flat white. And it's delivers straight to the point like the espresso would, but it has a touch of finesse, if you see what I mean. And for that, I'm going to show you the 1JJ Swiss by Piticci. So the Tarot de Marseille that I showed you was from Piticci too. And now I'm going to show you his 1JJ Swiss, which is his take on it. So that's the backs, very traditional, but this is a linen texture deck, which is what I mean by the finesse. And although it's like a Marseille deck, the pips are kind of similar, it is that little bit more refined. Even in the vegetation, you can see it. The court cards look a bit more refined. And this deck has been, you can see the color is creamy but looks a bit aged. It's done on purpose. So this is what I would take as my flat white. If I don't want just a Tarot de Marseille, which sometimes I find a bit bland if I've used it a lot, I reach out for this one because you can see it's, I don't know, that notch up. And less garish, although I wouldn't say my Tarot de Marseille is garish because I told you the reason why I like the one I showed you is because it's not garish. But you can tell by the way the drawings are. It's, let's just say, you're going to laugh at me, but I can see myself like Madame Lenormand, you know, being in a parlor and grabbing this deck when Napoleon comes to tell me and say to me, so, Mademoiselle Claude, am I going to win this war? And then I would just get this deck out and, yeah, tell him yes or no. There's an insight into my psyche, right? So that's the one JJ Swiss by Vincent Petici, and that would be my flat white, which is an extra category, but I felt I had to talk about that since it's my favorite drink at the coffee house. So let me know what your thoughts are. Do you have any of the decks that I have? What do you think? Are you going to do your VR about this? I love talking about tarot, so I hope I will see you in the comment box below. And wherever you are in this world, whenever you're watching this, I wish you a truly magical day. Take care, and until next time, au revoir.